So the way the Buffett rule works is the trickle-down effect, where the tax money from the rich goes to the government, and then from there it's redistributed. Hopefully it gets to the right places. So our government right now doesn't have the best reputation for spending their money wisely. Many Americans who are in favor of taxing the rich more are still skeptical as to where that money would go if the Buffett rule was actually implemented. So this is like one of the disadvantages we see in the Buffett rule. And instead of the trickle-down effect caused by the Buffett rule, what we could do is let the rich keep their money they earn so that they can invest those in the well-off or expand their businesses by hiring more employees. Money goes directly to those that need it the most instead of getting lost in the government spending. Like I said, the reputation of the government has constantly been getting worse, and the money would go to a questionable cause. Even those who are in favor of the taxes are worried that the money is not going to be used wisely. According to the Gallup services, Americans feel that the government wastes a substantial amount of tax dollars, so it seems pointless to raise taxes for anyone. Obama mentions that we need to improve our economy by hiring more teachers, protecting consumers, etc. However, these ideas are very rely on the government, and voters simply have lost faith in the government fixing our economy. According to the article, the Buffett gets the rule wrong. The Buffett rule and Obama's whole fairness doctrine perpetuates the fiction that Washington can solve the overarching problems of fading prosperity. But we've seen this many times that the government hasn't made the right decisions in fixing our economy. Even if the Buffett rule was implemented, those that are rich enough to be affected by the rule could simply just flee the country, just as we see that the co-founder of Facebook did. Eduardo Saverin moved to Singapore, where he wouldn't have to pay as much capital gains tax. Another way that people could simply avoid paying higher taxes under the Buffett rule is simply not getting married. And for instance, if two well-off people were under making $1 million, and if they would get married, then the Buffett rule will be implemented onto them. But if they didn't get married, the rule wouldn't affect them. The Buffett rule would hurt the job market. The people who right now have enough money to expand their businesses and hire new employees are those that would end up having to pay more taxes because of the effect of the Buffett rule. With more money being paid towards taxes, they will have less money to expand their businesses and help economic growth. Raising taxes on higher earning taxpayers would hurt business owners on whom our economy depends to create jobs. Most Americans believe that the rich do not pay enough. Barack Obama said that we need tax code reform, but we should correct the underlying defects of our current tax codes that let millionaires pay relatively low taxes, namely those lightly taxed capital gains and dividends. One option is to One option can be to change the top rate on capital gains from raising the taxes. But higher taxes isn't necessarily the answer. The answer is fixing our current tax problems, the loopholes that we have in our income tax system. And so higher taxes would reduce economic activity, and it wouldn't help the economic growth.